Welcome at this project development workshop, our first activity of what I think will be 3 exciting days. Today is a bit of our warm-up. We start this morning with this project development workshop, and I'm very happy and a bit proud to be able to announce here that we will have news freshly prepared by our colleagues from Ankara. The representative of the Lifelong Learning Agency joined us here today and will give information on the Erasmus+. And Katrin also will give an overview of projects and budget opportunities that are available, that are made available by the European institutions, the European Commission, for our sector, for the social sector and the health sector, and for the services we develop for persons with a disability. Why do we do this? We do this because we think that cooperation across borders, cooperation across subsectors in our field can help us to improve the quality of the services. And we work on the quality of the services because we think that through high quality services we can indeed promote the quality of life and work on the quality of life of persons with a disability. We have here today 5 project ideas, 5 embryos of projects that we will further develop after the plenary session here, where we introduce the programs and the opportunities. And we will also have a few friends, a few colleagues that will present their project here. And if you want, you can join up with them. You can discuss contribution and cooperation with them. But we will not further develop this project during the workshop this morning. If you want to join other projects that we might develop over the months to come, because as an office in Brussels from the headquarters, we try to develop quite regularly new projects, then you should let us know. And the person you should inform about your willingness to work with us on projects is Katrin. Katrin, maybe you should stand so that people see your face. Katrin is our project development officer, and she also prepared the event this morning.
Dear members of the EASPD from all over Europe, and ladies and gentlemen, good morning. And let me say, I'm very happy to be here for the first time in Istanbul. It is really a pleasure to see this fantastic city here. You can be sure many of us will come back as soon as we have more time to see your city. EASPD today represents more than 10,000 organizations in the field of disability services across Europe. So we have organizations, member organizations, are now in 33 countries. Our network is strongly committed to enhancing the quality of life of service users through affordable, achievable, accessible and adaptable services based on individual needs. Our work we do partly in organizing, for example, such conferences. And normally we organize about 3 of these conferences in close cooperation with national parties, with member organizations in our different countries. And that was also the reason why we came here. 2011, we signed a cooperation agreement with the Ministry of Family and Social Affairs. And since that, we developed a lot of projects together, and this conference is, I think, I'm not going to say one of the biggest now, because it includes really the whole sector. It includes not only the region of Turkey, no, it includes all these different stakeholders, some of them you already have seen. It includes other European networks like the European Union of Supported Employment, and so on. So we want to achieve, by including all the stakeholders, better results, because we live in complex societies, and in complex societies, simple solutions will not work. On behalf of EASPD, I first want to thank the Turkish authorities and the authorities from Istanbul for inviting us and organizing the conference here in Istanbul. Please give an applause to our host here. I think it's a fantastic environment.
It is what we try to achieve together with authorities, employers, and of course also organizations of persons with a disability themselves. But we also know that we are far from reaching the employment for all objective. There is still a very long way to go. And therefore, we thought it was good to organize together with the Turkish authorities this event here in Istanbul. But we also wanted to organize an award, and I would like the camera to zoom in on what you have on the table. I don't know whether the camera is able to zoom in that deep, but on the table there is the award that we will hand over in a few moments. Okay. That is the answer, indeed. And we have with us the artists that produced this award. And maybe he can stand and we will then give him a warm applause. A warm applause for the artist that created this award. And I would like to invite you to say 2 words about the creation of this beautiful award. You have the floor, please.
Bonjour, merci. Je suis en français avec donc je sais, oui, suite à la proposition d'un organisme français qui est éolienne, et aussi aux autorités turques et européennes, voilà, 4 personnes souffrant de troubles mentaux ont réalisé ce trophée avec mon aide. Et encore aujourd'hui, pour eux, l'acte le plus important, c'est mon absence de l'atelier pour une fois. Et ce sens à l'intérieur du trophée, c'est comment pousser les murs de tous les handicaps, qu'ils soient mentaux, physiques et même dans leur esprit, même pour les personnes dites bien portantes, parce que tout un chacun, un jour dans votre vie, sera toujours une difficulté. Et ce sera à ce moment-là à vous de pousser les murs. Voilà, je vous remercie.
award is about pushing away barriers and changing attitudes. And that is why we think it is so important to have this awarding ceremony here at the beginning of our conference in Istanbul. Over the last 8 months, we collected models of good practice from all over Europe, and I must say also organizations, enterprises from the States and from Japan contributed to this collection exercise. And our jury had the difficult task to bring this pile of models of good practice to a list of 10. And indeed, we shortlisted 10 practices, and they are presented in this publication which is available in English, in a printed version, but on our website, also in German and in French. And I'm sure that many authorities, many member states, will also translate this material into their own language. The document is available outside this room. Feel free to take copies. What were the criteria for selecting organizations? We were inspired by the UN Convention, by Article 27. Key criteria for being selected are, it must be a model that is implemented, so not just a theory, but a model that proves to work and to be effective. We had to see the proof that it was successful. It had to facilitate work on the open labor markets, and it must lead to a real contract and a real salary. People must be able to earn their living through the model proposed. The 10 shortlisted models were then, as I said, published in this publication. And then we had a grand jury that worked very hard to nominate from these 10 shortlisted organizations 3. And the 3 representatives of the 3 organizations are here with us. We have NASO from Spain, Spagat from Austria, Institute for Socialdiensten, and Paswerk from Belgium. And I would like to invite the 3 representatives of these 3 organizations here on stage so that they can present their practice to you. Representative of Petzo, Spagat, and Paswerk, can you please join me on stage and do applause. Before introducing the 3 models to you, I must ask you, invite you, to check your pack. In your pack, you have a voting ballot. Next to the awards that will be given by the Undersecretary here in a few moments, you, the audience, can also vote for the awards of the audience.
Winner of the EASPD Employment for All Award is ISTANBUL from Austria.
Congratulations. If you want to say a few words, please.
I'm very proud that we got this really nice prize, and it will get a really nice place. And I will thank all our participants at the project.
our social sector, or it's just too early to answer something so
Well,
specific?
I've been to Bulgaria. I've attended an EASPD meeting in Sofia some years ago. I was very, very impressed. I would have some knowledge of the history of Bulgaria, coming from a communist country into a new social democratic republic. I was very impressed with particularly younger people's enthusiasm to embrace the new opportunities, the new possibilities. I have been very impressed with my colleague on the board, Georgie, over the years, who brings always great, well-considered thoughts and opinions. And although the language is obviously a difficulty, he gets over that with the support with yourselves. And I think his contributions to the board meetings are top class and makes a very strong contribution. We also, as you know, have a standing committee on enlargement, which specifically looks at the issues specific to countries, particularly in Eastern Europe, and that's an indication, I think, of EASPD's commitment to those countries to again provide whatever practical support we can, but also to learn. It's a two-way process, because I've seen some services in Bulgaria which, in my view, are something we could learn from in the West.
It's directed to people with disabilities in Bulgaria, social service providers and employers, to raise awareness concerning the supported employment. We are working with EASPD on one project of this, and we have 2 more projects running at the moment. So can you make some addressment to our readers, because it's going to be our first issue, so it's important to send them a message together from EASPD and from the conference that we're going to report.
Well, if you allow me to give a few messages, then of course I feel privileged. And my first message to your readers is that we have to make the shift, focusing on disabilities, what we did in the past, looking at the defects, the problems, instead of looking at the abilities of people. And that is, I think, the challenge for the future. We have to move away from focusing on the disability, and we should much more focus on the abilities and the skills of people and what they can bring to society, to their family, and to the community.
One of the lecturers today said something that I liked a lot, that they are not people with disabilities, but people with different abilities.
Well, it is a way of putting it. I personally think that everybody has abilities. And it is, if you allow me to give the second message, it is, I think, the challenge for the service providers to indeed work in such a way, with such a level of professionalism, that they can find out what the abilities of a person are, and what the best match is between a possible job for a person and his or her abilities. So matching abilities and job requirements is, I think, the challenge for service providers in the future.
And what about the employers?
Employers, they are indeed the third actor. You have the person with a disability, you have the support provider, the service provider, and then you have the employer. For the employers, the message is clear, I think. Diversity in the workforce, having persons with a disability in the workforce, is an added value for the enterprise. Also today, reports were presented where it is made clear that enterprises that have diversity within their workforce are more creative, are more productive, and have a better outreach to their clients. So having persons with a disability in the workforce is not only a huge added value for society and for the individual, it is also added value for the enterprise. They will do better business when they have persons with a disability in the workforce. So that is the language that enterprises and businessmen understand. They will do better business, and that means they will make more profit if they bring persons with a disability in their enterprise.
Okay, and I think that in this process we should include the government and the authorities too. Do we have a message to them?
Well, authorities are, of course, also a very important actor. They should create the correct legal frameworks so that the different operators, support providers, the enterprises and the organizations of persons with disability can work together. How can authorities do that? First of all, they should try to remove barriers. And removing barriers is, I think, when we're looking at the labor market, making sure that persons with a disability have access to quality education in an inclusive way. Vocational education should be open for persons with a disability, because if they are not educated, if they have no access to quality education, of course they have difficulties afterwards on the labor market to find the right job. So there is a very important responsibility for the authorities. A second important responsibility for the authorities is to make sure that the enterprises can indeed employ persons with a disability, and that the public sector provides the support that is needed. Not that the authorities have to provide the support, but they should create circumstances so that service providers can go into the enterprises and help the businesses to welcome persons with a disability. There must be a legal framework to facilitate this, and that is also a very important responsibility of the authorities.
So,
Third challenge, I think, is for the authorities to make sure that work pays. Nobody is willing to work for nothing. So it must, the legal frameworks must be designed and developed in such a way that work pays and that people are not locked up in a benefit. So there is also an important responsibility, I think. So on three key areas: education, legal frameworks so that support providers can work together with businesses, and make sure that work pays, that indeed people earn a living.
they have a lot of responsibilities.
That's why they are elected authorities,
Of course.
and they are accountable to the public.
So only for participants in the process work together, we can say that we are making a step ahead, right? I know that you know the work of NASO for years. Can you say a few words for the development of NASO through your eyes in the last years?
Yes, I really admire the work done by NASO. It is really groundbreaking. It's very innovative. And I will say why I think that it is so innovative. It is so innovative because it brings the different actors together. It brings the different actors together, be the service providers, support providers, municipalities, and enterprises, businesses that are willing to work
Exactly,
together.
we had 4 participants with us.
Yes, and that is I think very innovative, and the fact that you have these actors together give a very interesting chemical reaction and creates
Yes.
innovative ideas, brings innovative ideas, and that is why I admire so much the work done by NASO. So I wish all the best to NASO, and I think that that type of cooperation will indeed bring more quality of life to persons with disability.
We hope the same. Thank you very much.